And welcome back to the lair. I'm Sulk.
I'm Hulk.
And we're here to bring you our next builds for Crash City. I will be building the LEGO Creators Series Bookstore. Kit number 10270, rated for 16 plus, with 2,504 pieces.
I am going to be building another cafe for our city. This one's the Summer Breeze Coffee Shop. It is kit number C66007W. It's got 1,116 pieces. The most I've ever built.
But I asked a question. How many coffee shops do we need? Like, we have bakeries, we have a pizzeria, we have a donut shop.
People like to eat and drink. I love to eat and drink. Come on now. This is perfect for me. You like to read a lot more than I do. So this one...
Okay, clearly from our last video, we are clearly uneducated. So I thought the bookstore at least changed that up a little bit.
Can be better educated is a better way of saying we're stupid, okay? Let's leave it at that. Anyways, the kit I am building is going to be for 14 plus. And just like our other Cada buildings, this one lights up as well. So again, I'll be able to play with some lighting, which is pretty much just one USB plug and then click start.
All right, well, again, going to my building, we have a bookstore, and attached to it will be a house. So looking first impressions on this thing. Again, not every building I can build has rotating doors, like again, live music, sliding doors, anything like that. Food. Yeah, food. So, again, it doesn't look as appealing as the rest of the buildings, but again, I could be wrong, and it could surprise me. Going to the back of it, it looks like it comes with 5 minifigures, and yeah, it has a scenery of pretty much what's inside, and going back to it again, doesn't look like anything really just pops. And also here it shows other buildings attached going to be attached to it. So here is the house, bookstore, and wink wink nudge nudge, a corner garage. I wonder what that could be, or our next building could be. We'll see.
Interesting. Yeah, for mine, first impressions, looks like just a standalone building. Does look fairly interesting compared to a very standard westernized kind of building that you've got.
Well, it's a residential building and a bookstore.
Fair. This one does look very exotic. JDM. What's the word I'm looking for?
Asiatic.
That one. Anyways, moving to the back.
Bookstore.
Could be better educated. Moving to the back, does look like there are a couple of moving pieces on this kit. Looks like the roof can open. The awning, I knew that one. The awning opens up as well, and there are sliding doors. In terms of any other little details, we'll have to build it and find out.
All right, can we get started? Let's get into it.
Let's go.
So, getting into it first of all, this is an older kit, so there are multiple bags labeled with the same number. So, can't wait to have fun with that one. But, cool thing about this thing is it has 2 different books, and each book separates the different buildings. So, first book with bags 1 through 4 will be the actual, looks like the actual bookstore itself. Excuse me. And book number 2 with bags 5 through 8 will be the actual residential building. But I noticed on these ones, there's actually no foreword from like the actual designers or whatever the guys who created this thing. And yeah, it gets right into the instructions. First book has 115 pages of instructions, and the second book has about 95 pages. Also, I noticed is this thing actually comes with 2 half base plates, so I guess each one just fits on half and will just connect together. What about yours?
Mine I thought was going to be fairly simple because I opened it and I saw bag 1 and bag 2. I thought they're all going to be labeled very well. There are like a million bag 1s and a million bag 2s. We're going to go into the same issue I have with the first Cada building. It's going to be bag 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Find it bag 1, small piece. Great.
Okay, so what you're saying is we will never see you again for another couple more weeks.
No comment. We'll find out. In terms of my instructions, there are 69 pages to tell me how much to struggle. And mine actually does come with introduction. I didn't know it's yours. Does yours normally come with the introduction?
Well, the more recent builds I've built, like the newer ones, I guess, actually had a little bit of forward from like the creators and everything. This one just goes straight into it.
I think this is the first one I've had where it shows the introduction. Either that, or I've never actually paid attention, which can very much be the case.
It happens when you don't read.
There are a couple of stickers. Oh. Not too bad. I say not too bad now, but I could be completely wrong. But we're about to find out.
All right, let's get started.
And we're back 5.5 hours later. Sulk, what'd you think?
It's a building. Yeah, again, there's really nothing that special about it, but you'll see as we go into the details when we get a little close-ups in. But yeah, there's really not much to write home about, but yeah, a building's a building, right? Not every building can be the sanctum. Yeah,
next thing.
Can't be sanctum sanctorum. Can't be on the police station. But hey, this ain't Vegas. People gotta live somewhere, and people gotta read.
That's true.
What about yours?
Mine was definitely. It looks a lot more interesting than yours. It surprisingly took roughly the same time as yours as well. We finished within like 5 minutes of each other.
Yep.
There are a couple moving parts, a couple interesting things, a couple things I liked, a couple things I didn't like. But we'll go deeper in that when we start to take these apart and analyze it a little more in depth.
Yep. Well, let's get into our close-ups. We're starting with the bookstore and house. So starting with the bookstore, if you can start from the bottom, it comes with actually a very nice tree and a little bit of leaves around it, which is a nice little bit of added detail where you actually see the leaves falling because it looks like an autumn tree. It easily pops off the base here, and zooming in, the base of the tree is repurposed black hot dogs, and these little I guess pole types, which goes all the way up to the top, where you see a little bird's nest, which is a repurposed wig, and the rest of the tree itself. So moving that out of the way, at the front of the bookstore, you can see a little mini bookshelf here, which is again repurposed bricks, all actually built horizontally, so it makes it actually look like there's books on the shelf. On top of it, you see just added leaflets, and a little piece that says "Once Upon a Time." The cool thing I did like about this building is that none of these pieces are actually with stickers, and they're all actually printed Lego pieces. So not a single sticker was needed. So scrolling up, you have the sign Birch Books, you have the second floor, and the top floor. Again, looking closely at it, you can see there's really nothing that really stands out to me, especially compared to all the other buildings that we built so far. There's no spires. If you look at the roof, there's no skylight. And even the fence at the top is just 3 little pegs and one little 3x1 pole that goes across. And then you go to the back of it, again, there's really nothing to add to it. So, actually, the one thing that is different about this building is when you actually start putting it apart, you actually remove the back of it first to reveal the inside. Instead of just removing the roof like all the other ones, it actually separates like a clamshell. So going into the top floor, again you see you have the master bed and a little, I guess, terrarium. We can see a little chameleon side. What I'm disappointed about is not a full terrarium where it actually can go all the way around, and the glass only covers up the front part. Sure, it provides access to the chameleon and whatever else you want to put inside, but I'd rather at least have, like I've seen before, a full display kind of thing. So you see the bed and the stairway leading to the second floor. So this easily just pops off. Going to the second floor. There's, again, not much to add here because it only just has a sofa and a carpet and a grandfather clock. What is cool about this though is that it's how they did the staircase, the winding staircase. This is the first time I'm actually doing one of these where it's actually a bunch of bricks like this, and they're just put on the 1x1 pegs, and it just eventually spirals its way up. So when putting it in, they actually can see it turns a little bit, but a peg's at the bottom and at the top, which locks it into place. So you obviously have the door that leads outside to the little balcony here, which has its own seating arrangement, and just a table and a cup in there. Going into the main floor, with the actual bookstore itself, you can see if you peek inside this way, you actually have the cashier, sorry about that, I'm just kind of mess this up. Bare fingers and indestructible hands. Alright, so you actually have some bookshelves underneath this little platform here. If I can turn this around, you could probably take a peek inside the front door. So, again, true to its name of a bookstore, there's lots of bookshelves everywhere. You see a bigger bookshelf here. Again, all of these is repurposed just single plate bricks, just built horizontally, so it gives the idea that there are plenty of books on these shelves. But again, there's really nothing else to add to here. What I am also curious about is that normally inside the actual floors itself, they'll have the plates with the single stud in it, so you can actually start displaying the minifigures inside the store to make it look like the scene's alive. But they actually don't even have one behind the cashier desk, and they don't have anything on the main floor itself. So I find that a little bit odd. So going to the building beside it, your house is actually quite more interesting than the bookstore itself. Which is, again, it's sold as a bookstore, it's advertised as a bookstore, but I find the house a lot more interesting. So leading up, the main staircase goes into the main floor. And you can see that it's just like the bookstore. It's just single one tile, single 1x4 base plates, or just plate tiles that go up a 45 and then straight into the front. Going up to the top, where the shingles are made, are actually all this semicircle, well, no, the quarter circle plates, and they're just all tied up together, and they actually can flip up a little bit. There's nothing really to reveal underneath it. But yeah, this is a little how they repurpose it to actually make the shingle look. Going to the top of it, again, there's really nothing, again, no skylight, anything like that, but you have a little bit of the chimney here and the two stacks. Going to the back of it, you see a 45 skylight here and more added shingles and a door that leads to inside. Just like the bookstore, it separates first. Excuse me. It separates so you can actually finally get a peek inside. You see one big bedroom with a regular bed, and you see a little a dresser there with a lamp and a plant there. Going to the main floor, you have the main living room. So you have the coffee table arrangement, which has a little tea kettle, teacups, 2 seats around it. If you turn it this way, you see a fireplace and a little cabinet here that has a little some spices or little containers in. So in case you are wondering, there is a door here that the first time building one of these buildings has a basement. Again, they really didn't add anything into it, but I find it a nice little cool feature because I've yet to build a building with a legitimate basement. And then you got the outside, which is the back of it, and it has a pumpkin patch in the back. But all in all, I wish I could be a lot more excited about the building and give you more detail, but I gotta give you my honest opinion on this. It's there. That's all I can really say. There's nothing really too major to really, like nothing to really focus on and talk about. There's really not that much moving parts. There's not really much features. Not like, again, the boutique hotel had the little art thing beside it, had a lot of things inside, and it just seemed a lot more engaging to build, if that's the best way of putting it. So going into the minifigures, you have the mom and dad here with a little kid. You see he has little short stubby legs, and he comes with his own toy plane, which is funny enough, the plane's bigger than the kid itself. Beside it looks like you have a patron to the bookstore holding a book that says Moby Brick and holding a flower. And then you have the lady that owns the store. So come to 5 minifigures and 1 little airplane toy.
Alright, now let's get into a more in-depth look at our cafe. Starting from the front, we do have 2 plant pieces that interestingly enough looks fairly different compared to the plant pieces that we normally see on the Lego pieces. Repurposed bricks nonetheless, but it's kind of trees that we don't see. I don't think we've seen on any other buildings that we have so far. Small menu at the front, pylon, as well as a street sign. These doors do actually open up. You have one from the front, you've got one from the side. They open up completely. Alright, that's just some of the moving bits of this piece. The top bit, got some scenery at the top. Skylight also does open up, and you can also reach in to grab a stand, and it will keep the skylight open. Another interesting thing about this piece, moving back to the front, first time I believe we are seeing, I think it's an air conditioning unit with a very fancy kind of intake on the side. These bricks at the front, also something that we don't normally see, and it's also repurposed as well, kind of working as gears. You'll see on one other feature that's very interesting on this building. The inside, there is quite a bit of details. We'll be able to see that a lot better once I take off the roof, because it does come apart in two. Okay.
Well, I think what the people really want to see is the LEDs to turn on.
Oh, that is right. That is right. Just like all of our other Cada pieces, these lights do turn on. Ta-da!
Ooh.
Yes, yes. We'll be able to see more in depth of that when I take off the top. But even just from the outside, it does look very warm and welcoming.
Why is there like a raven there?
I believe there are a couple of... There we go. Constant light on. There you go. It kind of changes every now and then. Anyways, the back, couple pipes, I guess, every typical building, and then this interesting knob actually turns. And when it does turn, the side has a bit that comes all the way out. An awning that comes all the way out. Again, I can use that bookstore. But anyways, yes, so during the construction of this, these pieces on the outside, not just for aesthetics reasons, these also do help move this awning in and out. So a couple moving pieces on this building, which is great.
That's already more interesting to me than the bookstore.
Yep. And then finally, the...
Well, I gotta say one thing though. Go back to the back.
Mm-hmm.
If you compare the back of this building to even the back of any of the other Lego buildings they built, minus the Sanctum Sanctorum, this actually has quite a fair bit of detail in the back of the building. So they didn't even skip out on that.
No, definitely not at all. You've got all the different kind of pipes. The front has this design. They didn't skip out on the back. It has the exact same design as well. So that is very interesting to look at. Very good. Well, very well thought out. This side is probably the blandest, but even then, you have a takeout window that does open up.
No, your fingers.
You stand corrected. But yeah, that does open up. You are able to see a little bit on the inside, but for everyone who did want to see the inside, give it a second. Top comes off fairly easy. There we go. It's only held together by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits. Alright, we've got 3 chairs. And kind of pretty much everything you need for a coffee shop kind of cafe. Things on the back for the staff, coffee brewing machine, table, fancy looking plant, more plants on the side, and very simplistic and yet different kind of building compared to all the ones that we normally build. Putting this top back, definitely a very different kind of building than the ones we already have in Crash.
That's pretty interesting. What are your final thoughts on this?
For a Cada piece, with the highest number of pieces that I've built, and definitely the highest number of Cada pieces, of any of the Cada buildings that we've had, it was not as bad as I thought it'd be. 5.5 hours, not too bad for 1,100 and odd pieces.
Well, again, it had more pieces, and what did you do to actually make it a lot easier to build this time?
If you guys do take a look throughout the video, we timed it. Mm-hmm. It's going to look a lot shorter on the video, but I actually spent the first 15 minutes opening all different bags. Again, going back to the bags, it was labeled bags 1 and bags 2, but there were also 10 bag 1s and 10 bag 2s. So
I finally understand your pain when it comes to that sort of thing.
Surprise, surprise, I did learn from the very first time when I wanted to rip what little hair I had out from building the Cada building. I did end up opening all of bag 1. Mm-hmm. I did end up splitting them all based on color. Mm. So I had all the different piles, and then the book separated by color will tell me instructions. So that felt like I wasted 15 minutes at the beginning, but I think in the long run that did help a lot more.
Well, it made it more efficient at that point.
Made it significantly more efficient.
So you would say as probably as a rookie builder, that would be the best thing to do.
Oh yeah, 100%. That does definitely make your life a lot easier. Up until the instruction booklet, like the one that came with this, made coloring very hard.
Well, even you were asking me midway through my build, like, why is this missing pieces?
A couple of these instructions, well, going back to the bricks, you've got black bricks, dark gray bricks, light gray bricks, dark brown bricks, light brown bricks, and there were a couple, just to throw in any more confusion, dark red bricks. So on the table, they'll look very different. On the page, it looks exactly the same. They all look exactly the same.
Maybe they took some samples from, a bookstore to properly to label things and, make proper instructions.
Well, no, the instructions are okay. Just maybe I'm a bit colorblind, or don't have much attention to detail. Either way, aside from that, the books did come with very nice instructions.
Well, again, living up to your name right there.
Landslide and something breaking. It's okay. This comes
straight from Japan. They should be used to.
Anyways, much like a tree, this does come off really easily, so it's really easy to put back on. Aside from the book and the confusing coloring, a couple other things I did notice I think could be better. There were a couple of pieces that could have been put on prior to where it was instructed in the book itself.
But I do remember when you were putting it together, even told you to put all the stickers at the end.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Yeah, so all of the other buildings that we've gone through, the ones that came with stickers.
Well, not even the buildings, just even the standard, like the Speed Champion builds or any of the regular standard
builds. Before you put
builds.
the brick on where it's supposed to be, while you have it in your hand, it's very easy to move around. It tells you to put the sticker on. All but one of these stickers were told to be put on at the very end. So your hand can only go a specific direction, or else you will run into something, or you'll break something else. And
well, again, if you have one of these on, that's even worse.
Yeah, exactly. Or not very careful, like me, you're bound to break something, right? There were also a couple other pieces. After the wall's been put up, then it tells you to put a piece on. You could have just put it on before putting on the wall, because by pushing it harder, the wall comes off like it did when I was putting it together. So delicacy and finesse, not two words that I usually associate with me with, but I had to do that for you guys. Aside from those, overlooking those, this was a very enjoyable piece. Again, very interesting piece. Not one aesthetically that looks similar to anything that we've built so far. Everything does look a little different, but I thought this was a very nice touch, and it will be a very nice addition to Crash City. How about yours? Final thoughts? Was it easy? Was it hard? It did still take 5.5 hours.
It still did take 5.5 hours, but just like the assembly square, these ones did come with a bunch of bags labeled 1, 2, 2 through 8. But luckily for me is that only 2 or 3 of them this time, not with the whole smackdown of 6 or 7 different bags labeled 1. But coming from what you expect, I wish I was more excited about this building, and I wish I could convey that more, but I can only take it so far. It's again, I can't describe anything else than
very standard building.
It's a building.
It's a bookstore. It's not supposed to be meant to be extremely entertaining.
Yeah, but I was expecting, I don't know, something more to pop. Maybe an author signing, or like at least something, right? But
well, like I said, there isn't even space for them to stand in.
That is true. Yes.
So it wasn't made to have very interesting or
like life. Like the bookstore has no. Again, I have to say it. There's no real life to the building.
Oh, it's filled with dead trees. And on that note, we're gonna cut it. We're gonna find a nice place for the bookstore. We're gonna find a nice place for the cafe in the city.
Yeah. Well, that's it from us.
That's it from us. Instagram page is up and running. Give us a follow. Show us some love. Until then, until our next build.
Yeah. I'm Sulk.
I'm Hulk.
Half a building.
Half a breaking. Catch you next time.
Oh yeah. Hit that like and subscribe button and hit that bell notification for more updates.
Almost forgot.
Yeah, almost forgot. No. Latest.
See ya.